welcome everybody. Welcome back to Homestead Heart. And today I am in my kitchen, y'all. And I am getting ready to make another batch, the final batch of cowboy candy or cowgirl candy. I know my granddaughter was like, why it's got to be called cowboy candy? Can't it be cowgirl? It can be whatever you want it to be. So I have my orange juice here. I'm still coughing a little bit and I still have a little bit of sinus pressure, but at least my head is not hurting as bad as it had been, right? So you all, I'm gonna go ahead now and get started with this cowgirl candy. Okay, now what I have in my bowl here, woo, woo, okay. So I have in my bowl, don't get too close. What I have in my bowl here is a little better than 4 1/4 pounds, yeah, almost 4 1/2 pounds really, of jalapeno peppers. Now, yes, these peppers, they red. Yep, they red. Y'all, you can use red jalapenos, green jalapenos. I have a mix of red jalapenos, red ancho chilies, green jalapenos, and green chilies, okay? The ancho peppers, right? And so I have a mix of those peppers in here, and they are all spicy. They are all hot. So that's what's in here right now, okay? And all I did, you all, was I took them and I put them in my food processor because I was not going to sit here and dice up all those peppers. Or chop up those peppers into circles and then put them in jars. Plus, I don't even like them that way. Now, the other thing I'll say about this cowgirl candy is that Mr. H don't even like it, right? So this is strictly for me, okay? And so now I realize something, that when it comes to canning these peppers, I could probably, if I'm gonna do them in these little 1/2 pint jars, I could probably eat one of these every 2 weeks. I go through a jar every 2 weeks, 2 a month. So if that's the case, why not do pints, right? Well, I don't want pints. I need to exercise some control here. So I am doing 1/2 pints, all right? Now, this is my 3rd batch of cowgirl candy that I'm making right here. I've already done one, and I have my 2nd batch here that's about to come out. The canner's done, but I let my jars kind of stay put for about 5 minutes or so. Oops. I let my jars sit for about 5 minutes or so, and then I take them out of the canner. So this batch is done, just waiting on my timer to go off here in a few seconds to get those out of the canner. And you all, getting these babies jarred up. But first I have to make the brine, okay? So, well, my time is about to go off. But anyway, I could make, you all, I would say if I did about, maybe about 24 of these, that would be enough to last me a full year. And enough to get me through until I was able to can up some more jalapeno peppers. Now let me go ahead and take these babies out of the can. I'm gonna set these to the side, and my orange juice. Let me get these babies out of here. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? That's my cowgirl candy, y'all. And I have a mix of peppers in here, but like I said, if you wanted to just do just jalapenos only, you know, do that. Feel free to do that. But I have a mix of hot peppers in here. And I was even gonna put in some Cajun bells, but I decided not to put my Cajun bell peppers in here. I'm gonna do something different with my Cajun bell peppers. And I am going to take you all along with me while I do something different with those Cajun bells. Woo! Just look at that. Look at how beautiful that is. Y'all see? Isn't it just gorgeous? That's a beautiful, beautiful cowgirl candy. All right. Now, with the recipe that I'm sharing with you all, I'm able to get roughly about 9 half pints. Okay? And then what I have left over here is my brine. I've also canned my brine, and it does have a few jalapeno peppers in here, right? Now, why did I can the brine? I canned that brine. Let me get this back on. Get my fire back on low on that. My jars are over here in a pot, just sitting. I've already washed my jars, and I've already sterilized them in some hot boiling water. They was just boiling away, and they're good and sterile now. And so I'm going to take those off of the stove so I can get my other pot on. But you all, before I start with these, let's go ahead and make up the brine, okay? I'm going to grab my big pot here that I'm going to be using. And I'm going to go over the ingredients with you as I'm putting the brine mix together in the pot. I got water in my salt. That's okay. Okay. Let's get this right over here. Then I can get the ingredients in the pot as we go. Let me take a sip of my orange juice. That's good. Okay. So this is one of my remaining ancho chili peppers right here that I was gonna put in there, but I'm like, no, I need to show them. Look at how deep red that is, y'all. These peppers are smoking hot. Mr. H tasted one of the red ones. I was gonna put some cayenne pepper in my my cowgirl candy, and he was like, I don't think you need it. So I'm not putting cayenne pepper in here. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and quickly go over what I am putting in here. Now I am going to start off with my vinegar. If you like, you can do a half and half of either white distilled vinegar or apple cider vinegar, 5% acidity, or you can do all white vinegar. I don't recommend that. It does change, in my opinion, the flavor. I don't like it. So I use straight apple cider vinegar. Now for my brine, I use 2.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. And let me measure this out. All right, that's 2.5 cups of apple cider vinegar. I'm just going to pour this in a cold pot, okay? I'm going to add in some sugar. Where's my sugar? Oh. Okay. So this is the sugar. If you buy sugar from the store, and I will buy it from the store sometimes too, and this is what I buy if I do buy it from the store. Now for this, I'm going to need 5 cups. That's a lot of sugar, Mr. H. I know. You ain't going to eat it all at once. This is going to be eaten in moderation. But this is what you're going to need for your brine, okay? Whoops. Sing to me, sing to me, sing to me. I'm wasting sugar everywhere. So anyway, this is a 4-cup measuring cup, but as you can see, I just take it all the way to the rim, and that gives me about 5 cups, okay? I got sugar. Okay, I'm gonna pour that in there. Now, I'm gonna give this a mix right here. Take the rest of the sugar out. Okay. because I don't want this sugar just sitting on the bottom. Okay. And this basically is what that looks like. Can y'all see that? Good. All right. All right, just mix that up a bit. Now, you all, to this, I need to move this pot out of the way. For now, sit this over here because I'm about to need that burner. To this, you all, I'm going to add a teaspoon of mustard seed, okay? Just sprinkle that in. Trust me, it adds some wonderful flavor to your cowboy candy. You don't have to do it. It is for flavor purposes, and it does make a difference, okay? I'm going to add 3 cloves of garlic to this. Let me use this to take it out. Now feel free to use, oh, that smells good. Feel free to use as much garlic or as little as you like, okay? Get all that garlic off of there. Okay, I'm also gonna add in a teaspoon of salt. There we go. I'm going to add in a teaspoon of turmeric. And I'm going to add in a teaspoon of celery seed. Okay? All right. Now that I have all of that in there together, I'm going to give it a mix around. All right, you all, and I'm going to get this on a fire. I'm going to turn it on a high heat. We got to bring this to a boil. That's the brine. Simple and easy. Okay. Woo, hot. All right, so now that we have our brine going, move this out of the way. I also have a little bit of white vinegar to clean my rims with. And the reason why I'm using vinegar is because that brine is super sticky, all right? Super syrupy. And so I don't want anything on the rims of my jars that will prevent my lid from making the proper contact with the rim of this jar, okay? So I'm gonna sit this to the side and we're gonna bring that to a boil, okay? Now you all, while we're waiting for that to come up to a boil, you can modify this recipe. Like if you didn't want to do jalapenos and you wanted to do spicy banana peppers, you know, the hot banana peppers, or if you wanted to do just different kinds of peppers, you can do that based upon the flavor of the pepper that you like, okay? So if you're not a jalapeno fan, but you do like ancho chilies, you can make this recipe with ancho chilies, just whatever you like. I did a mixture of these peppers because I think the flavors go so well together, okay? So that's why I have a mixture. And you can see that mix. Look at that. You probably really can't tell. You don't know what kind of peppers in there, but I'm telling you. So you could see how beautiful it is. A mixture with the reds and the greens, okay? You can even do serrano peppers if you like, all right? So it's just gonna depend on what you want to do. Now my Cajun bell peppers, I have a few left right here. And remember I told you all that I was gonna be doing a hot pepper sauce, right? And I am gonna do a hot pepper sauce, but these are my cute little Cajun bells right here. And these babies are really spicy, y'all. They very, very spicy. Now I'm going to be using some of my Cajun bells. Let me see if I could find the smaller jalapenos outside of the Cajun, or did I not put them in here? I probably have a few more small jalapenos in the bottom or either in another container. But I'm going to be using the Cajun bells and the small jalapenos to make my hot pepper sauce. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side. You're going to want to make sure that you stir your brine. You don't want it to stick. Okay, so you're going to stir that. Woo. All right. So you want to make sure you give that a stir while you're waiting for that brine to come up to a boil. All right, you all. So you know I'm not editing the video, so that's why I'm just showing y'all the different steps of doing these peppers. Woo, okay. Of doing these peppers as I go. I'm showing you all how they look in the end, because I'm not going to keep you the entire time we're waiting for those to come out of the canner. Now, why did I keep the brine if I didn't say so already? This brine right here, if you wanted to make a jalapeno, a cowgirl candy or a cowboy candy type of a chicken, or I don't know, lamb, or just anything, really anything, this brine is absolutely excellent for that, y'all. Look at that. Look at how deeply colored that is. Look at that deep red color in there. This jar is hot. Let me put on my little glove here. One of our viewers sent me these little Temptation gloves a while ago, and I love these gloves, right? But look at how deeply red that brine is. It's very sweet, and it's full of all of those different peppers that I had in there. It's not like enough to make a whole jar of peppers. It's not even a half a pint, but it has enough peppers in there to make this brine just that much more flavorful, right? So this brine, like, I am going to use this brine for some chicken, and I'm thinking I'm going to do a cowboy candy chicken. Yeah, a cowboy candy chicken. So I'm going to use this. I'm going to take you all along with me when I get ready to can that up, because it is going to be a canning session that I use for this brine. And the reason why I chose to process this brine instead of just putting it in the refrigerator is because I don't know when I'm going to get to it. And I don't want to just have the jar sitting in my refrigerator, right? So I'm going to take this brine, and once it's canned and cooled down, the next batch, because I know I'm going to have some left over, I'll have it all cooled down, and I will take it and I will put it away. And that will allow me to then be able to use this as like a marinade for my chicken, for my lamb, whatever it is that I want to do. I can do that with this marinade, you all. So don't get rid of your marinade. Now, I could have taken this marinade and saved it for my next batch, but I didn't want to. I wanted to keep what was left. It's just a pint. I wanted to keep what was left to be able to use for those purposes, okay? And not to mention, this would make a great base for so many other things too. You don't just have to use it as a marinade, all right? You can actually use and pour some of this in any kind of soups, any kind of stews. It'll add some wonderful flavor to that. So don't get rid of your marinade. You're gonna process it right along with your candied jalapenos, okay? All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that down. I'm gonna check on my, oh, it's beginning to bubble, but it's not boiling. This needs to boil. Woo! That vinegar is strong. All right. So we're just gonna wait that out and wait for it to come to a boil, y'all. So I still have a few more jalapenos to go. Mr. H already has his sliced jalapenos for the year, so he's good. I don't have to worry about him. And this is gonna wrap up the candied jalapenos for me, but I still have a few left. So this is all that's left of my jalapenos for the season. And what I'm about to do with these, y'all, I am about to get those, what is that in there? I am about to get those jalapeno poppers together, okay? We're gonna go ahead and get those mixed up as well. So I always start off with Mr. H because y'all know Mr. H loves his jalapeno peppers. He loves them. I don't know why he don't like the cowgirl candy. But he does not like the cowgirl candy. So I don't make that for him. I make that specifically for me because I love it. In fact, I put it on just about everything. Especially, I don't care if it's taco bowls, it could be nachos, it could be burritos, whatever it is. It could be fried fish, air fried or deep fried, however you do it. Put that over your fried fish. It really elevates the flavor of whatever it is you're eating, especially your fried foods, okay? So Mr. H is not a fan of this. He tried it a few times and he just can't get with it. So it's all gonna be mostly for me, right? And so with the rest of these are gonna be jalapeno bombers or poppers, shall I say. Let me put these to the side. I have my lids here. My lids have been sitting in they were in hot water, but this water has cooled down tremendously. So they were in hot water. I don't boil them. I just prepare them in a bowl of hot water and sit them to the side. I think I told you I have my vinegar here and I have all of my canning tools, my funnel, my jar lifter, my debubbler, and also my lid magnet. Now let me check on my brine again. Okay. Still stir this, y'all. Don't forget to stir it. Ow! Okay. So now once that comes up to a boil, you all, I'm going to set me a timer for 5 minutes. And I'm going to let that simmer. I'm going to turn this down from a high heat to a medium heat, okay? And I'm going to let that simmer like that for 5 minutes, all right? And then once my 5 minutes is up, that's when it's going to be time to add in my jalapeno peppers. Now, once I add these peppers in, there is a little tip that I'll share with you all. When you are scooping out your jalapenos, if you like to make the process easier, you can literally strain off the brine into another pot or something like that that can hold that hot liquid so that you'll be able to separate your peppers from the brine. That just makes it easier to fill the jars. But if that doesn't bother you, then you can just get yourself a slotted spoon and then you can scoop them out of the brine that way. For video purposes, I'm not going to strain it off. I'm just going to take them directly out of the pot and put them in the jars. So now my hands are sticky. My jars are here. Ooh, that brine is looking good and it's smelling good. That syrup is going to start to thicken just a little, okay? It's not going to be like some jelly or heavy syrup or something like that, but because of the sugar, the amount of sugar that we have in the brine, it is going to start to thicken just a little bit, okay, you all? Let me see where we are. All right, so we got just about 3 minutes to go, and then we'll get this in the pot. So you all, I would love to know, what are you all doing with all of the jalapeno peppers that you have grown, or any of the spicy peppers that you all may have grown? What are you doing with them? How are you preserving your jalapeno peppers? Now, I know some of you just say, hey, I just chop them up and throw them in the freezer. That's one way to preserve your peppers, right? Now, how are you preserving yours if you're not throwing them in the freezer? I would love to know, y'all. Y'all already know what I'm doing with mine. I have to can them up. Now, for Mr. H can, gosh, and I do can his also in the little half-pint jars. But when I do whole jalapenos for him, I'll do 12 pints. 12 pints of whole jalapenos. And all I do is I make sure that I cut the stem off. I always cut the stem off. It gives me more room in my jar. You ain't even got to do that if you don't want to. But I always cut the stem off here. And when I cut the stem off, it kind of leaves like a little bit of an opening in the pepper. So you don't have to worry about like trying to puncture a hole or anything like that in your pepper so that the brine can get all through the pepper. You don't have to do that if you cut off this top end here, right? Once I do that, you all, I make my brine and I raw pack these. I do not drop these in my brine. I just push these down in my jar, my pint-sized jar, as many as I can get in a jar. I will put them in, and then I will fill it up with my hot brine. All right, my jars are hot. It's not going to be cold jars. It's going to be hot jars, but my product is not going to be hot. Okay, and then I backfill the jars with the hot brine, and then I process them. So that's one way that you can can your jalapenos if you didn't want to slice them up or dice them up. I don't like sliced jalapenos. I prefer any jalapeno pepper that I eat, I prefer to have it diced. Now, last year when I did my diced jalapenos, you all, I was just so in love with diced, and I just said, you know what, from now on, I'm only going to do diced because Mr. H kept eating my diced jalapenos as well. And so I said, I'm only going to do diced, but well, I am doing dice, but I'm not canning regular jalapenos for me this year at all. I won't even eat them because of the Cowgirl candy. I won't even eat them. All right, so let's see where we are. That's my time. I'm going to give this a stir. Woo, that's hot. I should have let that steam come off of that first. All right, y'all. Come on, go with me. I'm going to bring y'all over here with me so y'all can see. I don't know if y'all going to be able to get all the way up yonder ways. Maybe. 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 Come on. Oh, look at us. Look at us. Look at us. Okay, y'all. Come on. Bring y'all as close as I can. All right. So you can see how my brine is looking. All right. You can see it. It's not a lot. Okay. So now that my brine is boiling, grab my spoon and my peppers. Literally, I'm just going to take this, you all, and put this down in the brine. That's it. All right. Try to get all my peppers out. I don't need them. Okay. Put my bowl over here. Then I'm going to give this a stir. Now that may look like a lot of peppers to brine. Let me bring y'all closer. It may look like a lot of peppers to brine, but it's really not, you all. That is really not a lot of peppers to brine at all, okay? This is actually, this is gonna cook just a little bit. I'm gonna stir that in real good. Make sure I get all of these peppers mixed into that brine. Turn my fire back up to high, just like so. I'm gonna get a lid on here, and this has to come back up to a boil, okay? A boil. And once this comes up to a boil, I'm gonna set me a timer again for 5 minutes, all right? And then I will turn the fire off, okay? All right, so now let's get back over here where we was. Oops. So now we just gotta wait on all of those peppers to come back up to a boil. And once they come back up to a boil, you all, oh, wait a minute. Once they come back up to a boil, then we're gonna turn the fire off. I got my water on here. It's hot. Once I start filling up my jars, then I will be able to get all of those jars in the canner and get them processed. I got 9 half pints here from the 4 1/4 half pound, something like that, of these jars, half pint jars. I got 9 of the half pints here. I just did 8 half pints, and I'm hoping from this batch to get either another 9, but 8 will be the minimum that I get, okay? So I would say about 24 or so is gonna be plenty for an entire year for me. I'm eating about 1 every 2 weeks because at dinner time, I always just grab a little spoon out of here and I just spread it across whatever I'm eating, y'all. If I'm eating soup, oh my goodness. If I'm eating some soup and then I'm able to, you know, kind of spread the love around in the bowl instead of just having big chunks of peppers, I like to have mine. I want it to go all through what I'm eating so that when I take a bite, I'm getting that little heat, that small amount of pepper in just about every bite. It just makes the dish much more balanced to me when I do them this way. Mr. H likes the crunch and the bite from the big peppers. So you all, I make sure that I take care of Mr. H first because I know he loves his peppers, okay? So now we're just gonna wait to bring this to a boil. It's already starting to simmer, so it's gonna be just another minute, y'all. I hope you all are enjoying these videos. I really do. With me canning this way for right now, I hope y'all are enjoying these videos. The next video that I'm gonna do is gonna be the jalapeno bomber so that you all can see exactly how I'm doing those jalapeno bombers, and I will also put an ingredient list up so that you can see that as well, okay? So we're just waiting for this to come up to a boil, and then once it comes to a boil, we're gonna reduce the heat down again to a medium and set a 5-minute timer, okay, you all? So Mr. H and I are still on the mend. I'm doing, well, he's doing way much better than I am. I think he's completely bounced back just about. But me, I still have this sinus pressure, this naggingness, you know, in my sinuses that is just so nerve-wracking because it makes my head hurt. So I'm doing a little bit better. I haven't had my coffee yet, even though it looked good. Mostly orange juice. Now you all, I'm going to share with you all a video about something that Mr. H and I purchased from the supermarket here. I want to say back about June-ish. And we've kept them all this time just to see how long they would last. Y'all, it just don't look like these things are gonna rot. So we're gonna do a video this week. I may even do it today, but we're gonna do a video showing you all what it is and how you just don't know what you're buying when you're buying stuff out of the store anymore. So let me see. Okay, so now this is boiling. I'm gonna go ahead and set me a timer for 5 minutes. And we're going to give that an opportunity to boil, and then once that stops boiling, then we'll be able to get them all jarred up. All right, I hope you all are doing good with your great COWGIRL grow off and your sunflower grow off. Y'all let me know it's time to get those pictures, start sending those pictures in. Some of you have sent pictures, some of you have sent video. I think Dee Dee sent video. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was Dee Dee who sent video. I know Beauty in the Garden, she's always growing COWGIRL. So many of you are growing COWGIRL for the very first time, and you're letting us know that y'all have some amazing harvest. So that's pretty good. So you all, let me have a look. Let me stir this, because again, because of all of the sugar, I don't want it to stick. I don't want anything sticking. All right. Okay. So now this burner cooks a lot slower than this one right here. So I have to give this one, I have to be patient with this burner right here because it cooks so slow. But y'all, I'm gonna go ahead now and start getting my jars out, because I think I'm just about down to 3 minutes. So I'm gonna start taking my jars out of the pot over here and getting them situated. Ooh, that's hot. Oh. And I just put all my jars in another big pot so that this big pot could be sterilizing these jars ahead of time, because I have to use both burners when I'm doing this recipe. I have to use both burners because I need one for my canner and one for my brine. So all right, y'all. Now another thing I want to talk to you all too about during this process is if you're canning these and you decide to can these in pint-sized jars, the processing time is gonna be the same. I cannot tell you what the processing time is going to be if you decide to can quarts, okay? I don't know why anyone would can a quart of cowboy candy. That's a whole lot of peppers in one jar. So if you would, consider using the smaller jars or consider using the pint-sized jars depending on the size of your family, okay? And then of course, if you're going to give some away as gifts, these make an excellent little size right here to give away as gifts as well. Okay? All right, y'all. So I'm down to about 1 minute and 30 seconds, which is good news. I'm going to start first with mine. And I do a couple of jars at a time. And I'm going to go ahead and crank the heat up on my canner. I'm going to put it on high, but I'm going to take my lid off. Lift my basket up. When you put your jars in, make sure that that hot water is going to cover your jars by at least a full inch, okay? From the top of the jar. 1 full inch above that jar, okay? 1 to 2 inches, all right? Because you want to make sure your jars process properly, okay? All right. Grab my funnel. I am going to have to move some things around here, you all, just simply because I got to bring my pot over here. Space, 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 space. Okay. Let me do some rearranging. Okay. Woo. And you're gonna need a slotted spoon for this. Oh man. Let me see if I can maneuver my jars over some more to make more room. Okay, okay. That'll give me more room for, and I typically don't move my jars around this much. Normally I just let my jars kind of sit tight for a full 24 hours, okay? All right. Now, whoo, hot. I'm gonna move this pot over. Oh, let's sit it right here. And that way I can go ahead and bring my other pot over here. Turn the fire off there. Sit this pot right here. Take off the lid. All right, y'all. Now this is ready. So now what I'm gonna do, what I think I'm gonna do, I'm just misplacing everything. Oh, here we go. All right, let me angle y'all down first and foremost so that you all can see what I am doing here, okay? There we go. All right, so now I have my ladle and my slotted spoon. And I'm gonna need this because I wanna grab as much of the pepper first before I actually start. Let me put you back in there. Before I actually start with the brine. So I literally just scoop this up. You're gonna need your funnel for this. And I put in about enough peppers to get me to a 1-inch headspace. I'm gonna tamp that down. Put my glasses on so I can see. We'll grab some more here. And once that gets up to a 1-inch headspace, you all, then I'm gonna come back with my brine. And I'm gonna try to just grab brine only. Okay, if I grab a few peppers, that's okay. But I'm primarily trying to get the brine. And I'm gonna bring that brine up to a 1/2-inch headspace. Okay? And then I'm gonna debubble. Move all of that around. Now I'm gonna check and just make sure I'm at a 1/2-inch headspace, and I'm not, because after I debubbled, well, my brine level dropped. Bring that right back up. All right. Now I'm gonna have to get my pectinacin and my vinegar. And I'm going to use this vinegar to wipe the rims of my jars, okay? And now I'm just going to grab a lid, get it on, and a band. All right? And that's how that looks. Y'all, that's going to be so spicy. Get this in the canner. Gonna grab me another jar. I'm being careful. I'm being careful. All right. And I'm gonna drain off as much of that excess as I can, and then get it in the jar. Y'all, this is spicy. I'm telling you. You think those green jalapenos are spicy? Let them go on and turn red on you. Then you really got some cowgirl candy. Tamp that down. Add in my brine. All right, now I'm going to debubble this jar. And if you're new to canning, I'll need a little more brine. If you're new to canning, debubbling is just simply when you take your tool and you move the product around in the jar, because you are just simply trying to remove any air pockets that may be inside of the jar, okay? All right, I'm gonna wipe my rims. Remember, I brought my product to 1 inch, the peppers, the brine, 1/2 inch headspace, okay? Woo! How come I always forget my bands? I always forget my bands. I'm always forgetting my bands. I'm gonna have to go get me some bands. Or I can use some that I see right here. Ain't that many, but I can use it. Come on, what did I do with them? I do this all the time. All the time. Pour that out. Okay. See how many of these I actually get. I'm pretty confident that I will get at least the 8. I can look at it and tell. If I definitely will go with the 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 pounds of peppers, I'm always gonna get at least 9 at least 9 1/2 size jars. Always. Woo. Now that's coming up a little bit too high. So I'm going to take some of those peppers out, because I don't want it to exceed that 1/2 inch headspace. There we go. Now we're good. Let's fix that back. Get my vinegar. Make sure I clean these rims. And then I'm going to go ahead and add on my lid and my band. And I need to grab some bands. Give me 1 second. for 4 more. I think I threw away all of my excess beans. That's what I think I did. Okay. All right, so now let me go ahead and take these out. Set this to the side. Get this in the jar. Now this is the part where I was saying that you could actually, that might be too much. This is the part where I was saying if you wanted to, you can strain the peppers. You could separate the peppers from the brine, and that would make it easier for you to be able to fill your jars with the brine and with the peppers. Thank you. I got some help from my trusty assistant. All right, so now I'm gonna go ahead and get the air pockets out of here. I am gonna need a little more brine in here. All right. I'm gonna wipe my rims. And this is 4. This is jar number 4. So far it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and take out another one. Because I do like to do at least 2 at a time. This is where I have to tilt this over to get the peppers out. Okay. Woo! All right, and it's literally just as easy as that. Let me grab some brine, put my brine in. Okay. Now this jar is too full. Take out just a little bit. Okay. Now let's have a look at this, see what this looks like. Looks good. Everything's at a 1/2 inch headspace. Wipe my rims. All right, get my lids on. This is a very, very easy recipe. And I like doing it this way because it's super easy. I can literally get all my peppers put in the food processor. Like I said, I'll take the stem ends off, right? Just cut the stems off and then drop them in the food processor, and there they go. All right, that's 6. 7. Okay. All right, let's get these jars filled. So like I said, I knew I was going to get 8. But I can't believe I'm going to get 9 as well. Okay. All right. And this is why it is so important, if you want to, it's very important that you could strain this liquid, this brine, separate it from your peppers, because it just makes it easier to get all your peppers out. All right. I'm going to just mash that down in. Get it all settled in there. Then I'm going to come back with my brine, which I won't need a lot of. And then I'm going to debubble that again. All right. And my 1/2-inch head space is holding. All right. Now I'm going to get my lids on. And my bands, and get them in the can. Okay, now I do have one more 1/2 pint jar in here that I'm gonna see if I can fill with these peppers. And I have quite a bit of brine as well. So I'm going to see if I can scoop out my peppers. And if not, the easiest thing for me to do, I could just cut up a couple of more jalapeno peppers, put them back in this brine and bring it up to a quick boil, and then fill my jar the rest of the way. It only takes a minute. My other jars will not suffer waiting a few minutes for these peppers to come up to a boil, but I think I'll be able to get what I need out of here. Yeah, I think I'll be able to get it. It's just gonna take some work. I got a fish form. Something told me actually to cut up a few more peppers to put them in this pot. Something told me. Okay, so it's not quite a 1-inch head space, but that's okay. I'll use my brine and bring it all the way up. Okay, so my brine just brought it all the way up for me. Now I'm going to wipe my rim. Grab me a lid and a band. See there? That's what that looks like. We'll get that one in the canner. Oops. As well. All right. Now lastly, remember we talked about my brine and how I don't get rid of my brine. Actually, what I'm going to do here is just take my brine and pour it over into my jar. All right. And I probably got enough for another small jar. Take that out. Lid and band. And here's my brine. That's beautiful. I'm going to get it in the canner as well. Okay, you all. So now, all I'm going to do now is lower this down into the canner. Lower my rack into the canner. That water is covering my lids by 1 inch. I'm going to put my lid on. This is already on high. Now, what I will do, this pot will now have to come, the heat from that canner is melting my little bowl. Look at that. What I'm going to have to do is bring this up to a full rolling boil. Once it comes up to a full rolling boil, that is when I will start my timer, okay? And this timer will go for 15 minutes. After that 15 minutes, I will turn my fire off. I will remove my lid and set another timer for 5 minutes. After that 5 minutes is up, y'all, I will take my jars out of the canner, and this will be my beautiful little end product right here. And that will be all of the Cowgirl candy that I need on the shelf for me for 1 full year. All right, y'all, that's gonna do it for this video. This video is long. Okay, this video is very, very long, but I'm glad that y'all enjoy kind of being with me in the kitchen while I do what I am doing. So y'all, if you haven't done so already, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and share the video as well if you think somebody may find this information helpful. Thank y'all again for watching Homestead Heart. Peace and blessings to each and every one of you, and I will see y'all in the next video.